Hi guys, welcome back to Popsicle-frog Knits. My name is Brooke and this is a channel where I talk about knitting. And it's been a while, so I'm very excited to be back, and we are going to be doing a knit and chat today, just catching up on what's been going on and answering some questions about knitting. So I'm super excited to be back, and let's just get into it. So, I don't know how long this is going to be, but if you want to grab a beverage, I'm having my morning coffee. And I am going to be knitting on my little knitting basket here. Ooh. Let's see. Tape measure. Running away. This is what I'm going to be knitting on. This is the Strata by Jacqueline Sislak. So I am just currently knitting in the round. I need to measure how much more I want to do. Let's do that real quick. Okay, I think I want to do about an inch more. Definitely not going to get that all done while we're knitting and chatting. But just some plain stockinette so I can do two things at once. I am using Knitting for Olive merino in the color hazel, which I got on sale because one of my local yarn stores closed, which I'm really sad about. It was probably my favorite of the ones near me, but it closed and they had a sale, so I got some Knitting for Olive for like 40% off, which is, in my opinion, a steal. So that's what I'm working on, that's what I'm knitting on, and why don't we just get into the questions. I have my laptop right here, so if I like bend down and look, I'm looking at the questions. And I did already film this. I filmed this a couple weeks ago actually, and I started watching the playback and it was bad. It was bad. I was super nervous. I hadn't talked to the camera in a while. My answers made no sense, and so I decided to just refilm it and gave myself a little bit of time between filming it and refilming it. So, also Ripley is here. She's missed being on camera too. So I keep saying let's get started and then going on tangents, but now we're actually going to get started. So the first question, or it's actually, I got two questions kind of that go together. The first is, what have I been up to? The second is, what profession do I work in or do I study? So I work in film, and that's what I've been doing for the past 6 months. So the last video I recorded was at the end of January. It was my plans for 2023. And I filmed that at the end of January, and I had all intentions of filming more videos because I love doing that. But on Valentine's Day, I got my first job working professionally in film. So last year, if you guys have been around, I talked a little bit about this. I took a year off to focus on getting my mental health and my physical health under control and getting them stabilized. Because I was burnt out and I needed time to be able to heal, physically and mentally. And so January 1st came around and I started looking for jobs. And I applied to one and I had an interview and I never heard back, which was fine. That was my first application for a crew position. And since I've been in college, or since I graduated, and I didn't hear back. And then on Valentine's Day, I got a text saying, "Hey, are you still available for these dates?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm still available." And they wanted to hop on a Zoom call and interview me again. And so I ended up getting the job on that Zoom call, and I started working on my first feature film 3 days later. So I was working as a script supervisor, which honestly didn't really know what that was until I got the job. So, but basically you're the script supervisor or scripty is the person who's in charge of continuity. So, you know, like when scenes, I'm sure most people have caught this before, but like if there's a conversation happening in one shot, the hair is like this, and then it cuts to a different person, and then it cuts back and the hair's like that. That's what you're trying to catch continuity wise. Also making sure all the lines are getting said, everything's getting shot, and just knowing the script kind of like back to front. Just knowing the script, knowing what's happening, shooting order, all of that. So that was my first job on a film set. And I met some awesome people and I started getting pretty steady work. I mean, a lot of it was unpaid. A lot of it was just like short films and getting experience. But I've been working pretty steadily since February. And I'm going to be honest, I never thought I would start working and be this busy and have made this many connections and worked on this many projects in 6 months. Like I'm absolutely floored by it. But my end goal is to direct, and I actually got to direct a short film written by one of my friends for his capstone project for film. And so I have now directed a short film, which is crazy to say because that's what I've wanted for so long, and now I'm getting to do it. And it's been incredible. And I just got, the reason I took so long to refilm this was because I was working on a job in Aspen. So I was in Colorado for 2 weeks, filming a bunch of interviews and stuff, which was really cool. So that's what I've been up to. That's the profession that I work in. And I'm just absolutely floored by everything that's going on. I'm working right now on a project that I'm helping develop, and I think that's going to be really, really cool. So yeah, that's where I've been. That's why I disappeared for 6 months. I was working so much, and every time I had time off, I was like, I don't want to look at a camera. I was like, I need a break. I have to mentally like decompress, get myself back together to be able to do my next job. Because like when you're working, it's like 12-hour days, like with not a lot of rest. You're kind of on your feet the whole time. It's tiring, but it's so worth it. It's fantastic. I love it. So why don't we get into the knitting now, because that's what this channel is. But I did want to kind of address where I've been. I didn't disappear intentionally. It was just like, oh, I have no time to make videos. But I'm hoping to get back into it because they do bring me a lot of joy making these. And I love doing this. It's just a matter of time. Also, I'm pretty sure I look down a lot when I'm knitting. I'm sorry about that. I can knit without looking. I just get really anxious when I do that. Okay, so knitting questions. So first question, most worn knitted object. So I have 3 written down because it's really hard. I really should track how often I wear them. I think that would be interesting to see, like make a list of all of my finished objects, track how often I wear them. And then get an idea of like what I wear the most if I want to make another one of it. I think that could be cool. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll make a video tracking when I'm wearing things, and maybe like combine it with like a styling video. I don't know. If you guys think that's interesting, let me know, and maybe I'll try to do that. So most worn knitted object. So it is either, I said I have 3, but right now we're going to start with 2. It's either my Cumulus blouse that I made last August in, I made it with Drops Kid Silk in the color mauve. And I am obsessed with it. I love it so much. I take it lots of places. One, it's a great color. Two, I love the fit. And three, it's just a great piece, even, especially for Texas, honestly, even though it's mohair. It keeps me warm enough in the AC, but also if I'm just like if I have it on and I like step outside to get in my car, it doesn't get too hot because breeze can still kind of come through the mohair. So I absolutely love my Cumulus blouse. I actually have two. And I'm so excited that she finally updated the sizing, so it now goes up to a 5XL, which is awesome. And my other object that I wear pretty consistently is my champagne cardigan. I made my champagne cardigan last November with yarn that I bought for my birthday when I was in Paris from Lil Weasel. I got La Bien-Aimée Corey worsted in the color High Garden, and I wear that cardigan all the time. I've had to de-shed it or de-pill it like 3 times because I wear it so much, and it is a pretty pilly fabric, I found. But I absolutely love it. I love the color. I love the fit of it. It's just the perfect cardigan. I probably am going to make more of them because it, again, just absolutely perfect. I love it so much. And I recently just finished my Moonset pullover by Ozetta, and I used Red Door Fiber Studios classic sock and mohair lace in the color Get Used to Disappointment from the Princess Bride collection to make it, and it is going to become one of my most worn objects. I have been wearing it all the time. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. The fit is incredible. The fabric, phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about this project. Like, the pattern is gorgeous. And I was worried I wasn't going to like it on me, if I'm being totally honest. But I'm obsessed. It's such a great layering piece on top of, like, t-shirts, tank tops, all kinds of stuff. It's just beautiful. And I'm absolutely obsessed with it. So it's going to become one of my most worn objects. All right, next question. Okay, the next question is, what has been your knitting inspiration lately? So I'm gonna be honest, I've been struggling with knitting inspiration. I mean, I've still been knitting like crazy, but coming up with projects has been a little bit of a struggle for me. I mean, I have so many that I want to make is part of the problem, is I can't choose. I have so many things on my favorites on Ravelry that I really want in my wardrobe. But I think, one, I've really loved seeing people's mood boards on Instagram. I love that that's become a thing. I haven't gotten to where I'm making my own because I feel like I'm too indecisive to do that. And I can't really pick a focus for a mood board. But I do love seeing everyone else's. And I think really if I get down to it, what has been inspiring me the most lately is yarn. I don't know if that's like, I'm sure other people feel this way, but like I love hand-dyed yarn. It's a problem because it's very expensive and I don't make that much money doing what I'm doing currently. But I love hand-dyed yarn, and I'm really, really obsessed with buying hand-dyed yarn. Again, it's really a problem. But it's the color, when I see a certain color of yarn that I'm in love with, I automatically just start getting all of these ideas of what it could be. And that's kind of how I've been generating my inspiration. Like, let me grab it. So I bought this yarn in April, I think. And I'm obsessed with it. So it is Farmer's Daughter Father's Daughter Fibers Pishkin, which is 100% American or Montana and Wyoming Rambouillet. It is a DK weight. It's 2-ply, and it is in the color Daddy State of Mind, which is this beautiful like greeny yellow color. It's named after a Pedro Pascal quote from I think it's a Vanity Fair interview on YouTube where he says daddy is a state of mind. So it's inspired by that, which I am also obsessed with. But this color is so inspiring to me. I love it. I can't wait to make something out of it. I'm also struggling to pick a pattern right now. I think I'm going to be making the Harlow sweater V-neck with it. This is also, okay, we've kind of gone into the next question, which is what is something you really want to cast on right now? So we've kind of moved in questions. This is like a multiple part question, I guess. So I'm thinking of doing the Harlow sweater V-neck in this. I don't know. Give me your thoughts. If you have other DK weight patterns that you think this would be good in, please tell me. I would love more ideas. But I can't wait to make something in this color. I feel like it suits me, and I just love it. So I'm very excited to cast something on with this. Put that there. And I also have a couple other projects that I really want to cast on. I want to make the mini mock neck tank, which is like, if you haven't seen it, it's beautiful, but it's like all over Instagram because it's just absolutely stunning. And my parents have just been to Norway to visit their best friends. And my mom has kindly bought me some yarn. They get back today, so I will get the yarn later today. And I am going to use that to make the mini mock neck tank, and I'm very excited about it. And I also really want to make and that's by Jessie May. The Harlow sweater V-neck is by Kadri. Another one I want to make is the Rib to Your Measure. Another one I want to make is called Rib to Your Measure by Lacey Williamson of Winwood Farm Knits. It is just this awesome tank top that is, I believe, 2x2 rib. And it uses, for the size I need, it uses like exactly 400 meters. So it is a one skein project for me in fingering weight yarn. So I really want to make one of those. I have some yarn that I've had for like a year now. This is probably some of the oldest yarn in my stash from Mezzo Makes, and it is from her Office collection, and I really want to use it to make a Rib to Your Measure. I also here, let me just grab the yarn. I love how this is kind of becoming a knitting plans video. Well, okay, so this is the Mezzo Makes fiber yarn. It is in green. I have a thing with green, if that is not obvious. It's called the Teapot, so it's based on the teapot that Jim gives, that Jim gives Pam in the Secret Santa episode that has all of the like little memory things in it. And I just absolutely love this color. I love that episode, and I'm really excited to make something in this. And then the last thing I really want to make is the Best Vest by James and Watts. And excuse me. And I'm so excited about this yarn. I got this beautiful yarn to make it. So I said one of my local yarn stores was going out of business, and so they're having a sale, and they carry Woolfolk yarn, which if you're not familiar with Woolfolk, it comes in 50 grand skeins, and they're like $20 a piece. They're so expensive. I actually thrifted 3 skeins of Woolfolk Luft earlier this year. Or maybe it was late last year. I don't remember. But I have 3 skeins of that. I don't know what to do with them, but I got them for $3. They're normally like $18 a skein. Sorry, I got them for $6. So $2 a piece. But I was able to get Woolfolk 4. It has the A with the little dot above it, which is normally far, is how I'm gonna say it. In this beautiful color, which is just color 36, but it's this like burnt orangey color. I think it's showing up brighter on the camera than it does in real life, but I am going, and it's like this super cool, like almost braided looking yarn. I'm really excited to knit with it, and it is let's see. It's 100% Ovis 21 Ultimate Merino Wool. So those are the things that I want to knit on soon. I'm also currently working, Chester! I'm also currently working on a look at my holes for my mom, and I'm really, really enjoying that pattern, and I have yarn to make myself one. Also from that going out of business sale. I got a lot of yarn during that sale. Because it was all on sale. And I have a problem. So that actually is a great segue into the next question, which is, what is my favorite summer yarn? And I'm going to be honest, I haven't used that many summer yarns. I'm really have an affinity for wool. And I also have a tendency to ignore the weather and dress how I want to, even if I'm kind of burning up outside, because I don't spend time outside in the summer in Houston. I stay inside, so I wear what I want. So wool's kind of my thing. But I did use a linen by yarn, or like a linen, oh really? I did use a linen cotton blend by Yarn Bee last year to make my mom a scarf. She had neck surgery last May, and she was in a brace for a long time, and it was the middle of summer and her brace was like irritating her neck. So I wanted to make her a scarf big enough to sit under it, but also be a summer fiber, so it's not like she has a wool scarf sitting under her brace. So I did use that, and it was by Yarn Bee from Hobby Lobby, which I don't like Hobby Lobby, but I needed a summer yarn. And I've also used 100% cotton, the Lily and Cream. I just got it at Joann's. I used it for crochet, but I really don't like working with that. It really, really tore, like, kind of roughed up my fingers. So I'm currently, I said I was making the look at my holes. I'm currently using a mono Chotsky to make that, and I'm loving it. It is a, let's see, I had it written down, a wool, cotton, and linen blend, and I really, really love it. I mean, I think the wool is the highest content, but it's really, really nice to work with. It's soft. It doesn't feel like it has cotton in it, in my opinion. And the other summer yarn I've used that I do really love is Noro Kakigori. I used it to make a vest last summer, and it was really a joy to work with. Like, it didn't, and it doesn't have wool in it. It's a cotton, silk, rayon, and nylon blend, and it didn't dry my hands out. I really loved working with it. So I guess Amano Chosky and Nora Kakigori would be my favorites that I've worked with. Not a fan of the 100% cotton I've used. but it is that only one, and that is a really rough cotton. So maybe I'll try more summery fibers soon, but I don't really see that happening. Yeah, I like wool. Okay, so then next question is, what's your favorite technique you've learned since the last video? I haven't learned that many techniques. I've learned the lace pattern for Look at My Holes, which I really enjoy doing, and it's really, once you know it, like, it's super easy to do and it's fun. And he has a video showing you exactly how to do it, and it's a good time. I'm really enjoying that pattern, even though it took me like 7 times to get it started. But we're not gonna get into my trials and tribulations of that top right now. I'll probably do that in a podcast episode when I'm talking about it. I learned Judy's Magic Cast On for the Moonset pullover. I don't think I did it right. It doesn't look great, but I did learn how to do that. I could not do it from memory. I'd have to watch a video, but I learned it. I did it. That's kind of, oh my God, these are kind of, it's a lot of brown apparently. I didn't even realize. And Ripley Ripley matches too. We got a theme going on, people. Okay, so the last knitting related question, there are a couple more just personal questions. But the last knitting one is needle recommendations. So I have 2 sets of needles. The first one, technically, I don't even know if I have the full set because I've bought the pieces individually. Because when I started knitting, all of the pieces of this were on sale for like $2 a piece at Michael's. And so it was cheaper for me to buy individual pieces than to buy the whole kit. Or the whole set. So I used the first needles I ever bought were the Clover Takumi bamboo needles, and that's currently what I'm using actually. And I really love them. They're bamboo, they're pretty slippery. They are sharp, which I like, but also the way I knit, they kind of poke my fingers some. But they work really well. They're a little bit squeaky, just like the ever so slightly squeaky. And one downside is that, let me show you. I don't know if you can see it. They don't have like a way to tighten them other than using your hands. So like it just unscrews and you screw it back in. So like with my other needle set, they have like the little tool that you use to crank it farther than you can twist it with your hands to hold it in place. So these do come unscrewed. That's like the huge downside of these. It's super annoying. Okay, I got cut off. The other needle set I have are the Lykke Cypher needles. So they're the copper needles, and they're beautiful. They're so beautiful. They're so aesthetically pleasing. They're not the most useful needles though, I'll say that. I really only like using them when I am knitting in the round because of the way the copper feels in my hand. I like having the knitting fabric or the stitches like covering it, so I'm not holding the actual needle, just because one, that keeps them from getting the patina or the like coating on them, and also they do smell a little bit. They, at least for me, with the oils in my hands, they do smell a little bit. So my fingers will smell a little bit like copper if I'm holding them. And the patina also, I found, makes it harder for the stitches to move on them. So I really don't like using them knitting flat. I do love them though. They're great. They're also not as sharp. So they're not... Like, I didn't have the right size for the Look at My Holes, so I started trying to do it on the Cypher needles, and I couldn't get into the stitches properly. It was just not sharp enough, so definitely not good for lace knitting. I also have a couple of the Knit Pro just the wooden, like, colorful, multicolored needles in 3mm and 7mm, because those are not sizes that come in the kit or in the set. And also they don't sell them in the US, so I got them from Wool Warehouse. And they're great. They're pretty slippery for wooden needles. Like, the coating on them is great. I do really like those. So if you're looking for a cheaper interchangeable set, I think the Knit Pro, I can't remember which ones they're called. So now on to the last couple of questions, and these are non-knitting related. So the first one is, what is your favorite hobby besides knitting? And again, I'm being honest here. I don't really have a lot of hobbies besides knitting. And by I don't have a lot, I mean I really don't have any other hobbies other than knitting. What I do have that I consider a hobby that a lot of people don't is I watch a lot of TV. And for me, TV has always been a hobby. I've always loved watching TV. When I was in 7th grade, I got really into the show MASH, which is an incredible show from the 70s about a mobile army surgical hospital. But my parents had the box set, and I was obsessed to the point where, like, I was counting time in units of MASH episodes. Like, I'd be at school, and I'd be like, I could have watched 3 MASH episodes in the time that I've been doing this. And I got a limit set on me because all I wanted to do was watch it. So I got 3 episodes a day. That was it. But it's my favorite show. But people always ask what my hobbies were, and I would say watching TV, and they'd laugh at me a little bit and be like, that's not a hobby. But to me, it's a hobby. I get a lot of joy out of it. I learn from it. I'm a filmmaker, so, like, it also gives me, like, I'm learning more things about structure and storytelling through watching TV. And I can knit while I watch TV. So I get to do 2 things I love at once, which is awesome. I'm not a huge reader. I used to be. I would devour books. And I devoured the Court of Thorns and Roses series. Devoured so fast, so quickly. I read them all in 3 weeks, all 5 of them. And I've been trying to get back into reading. I read the first book of The Throne of Glass. So I read Throne of Glass. I read that in 3 days. And then I started the next one, and I got part of the way through. And on the back of the cover, it says that an unspeakable tragedy happens. And I haven't gotten to that yet. And I don't want to get to that. So I haven't read it in a while because I don't want any of the characters to die, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. So haven't read that, haven't finished that. I just bought People We Meet on Vacation a couple weeks ago, and I started reading it. But then I went out of town for work, so I haven't read it since. But yeah, I'm trying to get back into reading. I feel like reading is a good hobby. So, next question, any travel plans right now? I currently do not have any travel plans. I would love to be able to go to Flock in August. I just don't think that's going to happen. But I would love to go so bad. I've never been to a fiber festival, and that Flock just looks incredible. So I want to go, but I don't think I'm going to be able to go. And then, what am I most thankful for in 2023? So I think I talked a little bit about it when I was telling you about where I've been. But I'm so incredibly thankful to be able to be doing what I love. I am getting to do the things that I've wanted to do for so long. Never in a million years would I have thought that in my first 6 months of working, I would have already directed something. I was absolutely terrified. I didn't think I was ready. I didn't think that I could do it. And I did. And it it went great, and I'm really proud of myself, but I'm so thankful for the opportunities that I'm getting to be able to do what I love. And I'm also really thankful for knitting and the knitting community, because even though I've kind of been away from it, it still brings me so much joy. Like watching people's YouTube videos and looking at everything people are making on Instagram, and just the way the community supports each other and roots for each other. I'm so thankful to be a part of it, and everyone's so supportive and so kind, and it's just been an incredible place to be. And it got me through a lot last year, and so it's always going to be incredibly special, and I'm going to be so thankful for it. And for you guys for watching my videos. I know I've been gone, and I'm just so thankful. I feel like I say this most videos because I'm just still in shock that people watch these and love them, and like people have been commenting on like old videos being like, please make another video, and like every time I see that I want to cry. Like people actually want to watch what I'm making. Oh, there goes Ripley. People want to watch what I'm making, and like it just it just shocks me still. And I'm so happy to be back making videos. Right now, my plan is to just make them when I can. I like doing monthly podcast episodes. And so I'm going to try to do those at the end of every month, if I'm not working. But I want to thank you guys so much for being here, for watching this, sticking around, for liking, subscribing, commenting, like anything, even just watching it. Like you don't have to do any of the other stuff. Just watching it makes me incredibly thankful. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this knit and chat. I am so happy to be back, and I can't wait to see you guys in the future. So, bye.